Hello, and thank you so much for joining us for Tuesdays with Tuesday today, as we had 4 fabulous men in the studio with us today: Vernon Williams, Rob Brown, Pastor Michael Jones, and Thomas Griffin. And we are discussing what men want women to know. Tune in, stay locked. You are going to hear some great information. Thank you for joining us for Tuesdays with Tuesday. Adam, welcome to Tuesdays with Tuesday. Say hi, Adam, over here. Just say hi.
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 Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. Adam will be working our boards for us, we believe, going forward. And in the house, can I call all of you distinguished? I know that's your organization, but can I say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Utilize it till you don't utilize it anymore.
Okay. Well, we have 4 distinguished men of God here with us today in the studio on Tuesdays with Tuesday. And we have a topic that I tell you has just breeded so many questions from people inboxing me, as well as the information that these wonderful men have shared. So I'm going to have each of them introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about them, what they do, and if they're married, how long they've been married. To my left is my big brother, Vernon Williams.
My name is Vernon Williams.
Listen to that voice, y'all. He swears.
Well, anyway, I worked at IUPUI as the communication person in the Chancellor's office. Prior to that was VP Communications with IBE, and prior to that with Indy and Gary schools, always in radio, TV, or communications. So from GI, the great city of Gary, Indiana, and married 40 years to the same woman, and happily married. And that's who I am.
Awesome. What's your wife's name?
Joyce.
I love Joyce. She's such a precious spirit. And going around the table, Pastor Michael Jones, who stepped in for our wonderful brother, Robert Jackson, who had to take a quick trip away. So tell us a little bit about you.
My name is Michael Jones. I am the senior pastor of the Progressive Baptist Church, and I'm also a musician and author. I consider myself a Renaissance man who's living out of season but trying to do the best he can in a world that doesn't always make sense. That being said, I have been married. I am no longer. That's an interesting story for another day. I've talked about being a single pastor. Maybe one day I'll talk about being a divorced one.
Well, all right.
But at that notwithstanding, I love God. I love this community, and I hope to enjoy this conversation with some very distinguished gentlemen and some very lovely ladies.
All right. Brother Robert Brown.
Good evening. Hello, everyone. My name is Rob Brown. I'm a regional asset protection manager for CKE Restaurants. I'm also a minister at Eastern Star Church. I am also divorced. Like that's another topic for another day.
I might have to just do a show on that.
But it should be an interesting show today.
Now, Robert, you're a pilot.
Yes, I do fly airplanes, so yeah, I am a pilot. Actually, the distinguished gentleman beside me, Pastor Jones, is a pilot as well. So,
I love that.
yeah, so
Got
yeah,
a lot of stuff going on, man.
so he truly is a Renaissance man.
Amen, amen. And Thomas Griffin, rounding it up.
My name is Thomas Griffin. I'm not a smart guy like these gentlemen. I'm a high school graduate, Shortridge High School class of 72. I married a young lady that I went to high school with. We were married for 13 years. From there, we have 4 fabulous children, none of which live in Indianapolis, so therefore I have no stress in my life.
They all grown now, right?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Don't make you stress-free.
I got kids in
Right.
San Francisco, LA, Dallas, Atlanta, and Detroit.
Amen. That's awesome.
I was married 13 years. I've been divorced for 22 years. Former radio announcer, WTLC AM, FM, Smooth Jazz, 100.9, the new WKLU, and WZPL. I worked at the Center Township Trustee's office, and I'm currently the president of the Indianapolis. Make the clarification, there are 12 chapters throughout the state. The Indianapolis chapter of Indiana Black Expo.
Awesome. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome. We have fun. So we ain't gonna be all stiff.
Oh, no.
Okay, so we're gonna get right into this topic because these gentlemen have sent to me facts, things that they want women to know about men. Now, I probably have about 40 facts, 40 things. We're probably not gonna get to all of them. Okay, there will be a part 2 in March, so if any of you are able to come back, I know Pastor David Green of Purpose Life Church is sending some of his men over for that part 2. But if any of you are available to come back, I welcome you to do that, since these are your questions, right? So we are going to have fun. So, by the way, I'm Dr. Tuesday Tate. Tracy Denmark, y'all hear me talk about Tracy all the time on the air. All my little pretty posts and things like that.
She hooks it up.
She hooks them up.
She hooks it up.
I love me some Tracy Denmark. She's T2, I'm T1, and I just love her. She is dynamic. Okay, so let's get to it. Why did this topic come about? One of my passions besides the gospel of Jesus Christ is relationships. And I just believe that I started a forum about 3 years ago, the Father Lost Forum. Pastor did that forum for me, and Vernon did it as well. And even in that, just helping people to have good relationships amongst fathers and sons and fathers and daughters. But from that, I just have a passion for relationships. Good, healthy relationships. Because everything we do is about relationships, whether it's business, church, children with their parents, so on and so forth. So, here we go. This is one of the statements, and we're going to talk about some of these in depth. This is one of the statements. Women need to learn to let go. What does that mean?
Well, if I can start out the dialogue, I would say once things have been discussed and all the questions have been answered to your satisfaction, and really, if you really want to tell the truth about it, to your dissatisfaction, if it's going as far as it can go. Y'all know what I'm saying? If it's going as far as it can go, it's going as far as it can go. Now, men are of the nature, because, let's face it, there's certain DNA, women, certain DNA, men. In no sense in us fooling ourselves. We wired a little different. It's just the fact of life. God did it.
God did it.
So don't get mad at me for
don't
talking
get mad
about
at
it.
him.
But when we're done talking about it, honestly, we want to consider it part of the past. Now, not all women. I don't want to paint with a broad brush.
Can I interject something?
Mm-hmm.
These do not, it's not a broad stroke.
No.
Okay, it's not all men think this way, it's not all women think this way or behave this way. However, we are a representation of what's going on in the relationship world.
So let me put it like this. Too many women will bring it up. You could be sitting there looking at a TV show, and it happened 6 years ago.
6?
And a character in the show do something
Come on.
that remind you of that little thing that happened that upset you. Don't bring that up. Resist that temptation. Because he ain't got, really, you have to decide what kind of relationship do you want. Because you're not going to do anything but push away folks with that kind of situation.
So choose your battles.
Exactly.
So how do we
Let
know?
it go.
I would like for someone else to interject.
Well, you don't have to look at me. Look. And I saw you turn your head, and you already said the two things, and you hit the nail on the head.
Okay.
Pick your battles, let it go.
Okay.
And
how do we know that you want it to be done besides you saying it? Is it the breathing hard? Is it the here she go again?
You know what, though? Here's the shame about most relationships and life in general. There's this thing that's called common sense, and they say that common sense ain't common. So and I know, once you've asked your man, your mate, the person you're having this relationship with, that same question 750 times, there is no need to bring it to me 751.
Because you probably got the same answer.
You know what I'm saying? At what point do you recognize or realize we've broached this subject and taken it as far as we can take it?
Okay.
And so now what you're doing is that other old adage, you're beating a dead horse. Come
Pastor?
on.
Well, decisions have to be made, I think, in terms of the context of the safety, health, and significance of the relationship. If the problem is more important than the relationship, then you don't have a relationship. If the relationship is more important than the problem, let it go.
Dang it.
Well said.
Okay, see, I gotta let it go.
Gotta let it go.
Gotta let it go. Glory to God. Glory to God. All right, that was excellent, gentlemen. Here's one. Unlike cars and houses, women cannot fix men who come broken. And so this happened to go with a statement or a question that was sent to me. So I kind of joined it from a woman. They said, this may be true. They were talking about their own, with men being broken. They asked, why is it that men often will not take responsibility to do the work to be whole if they know that they're broken. And we really don't want to change them, we just want to make them better. So what do we do? What do we do if we know we have a broken vessel, but they are not willing to do the work to be whole?
Tuesday, first and foremost, let me tell you something. I've been single for 22 years. This is my area of expertise.
Is it?
All of this. Because most of my friends, for some strange reason, happen to be female. And so these types of
For
things,
some strange reason.
for some strange reason,
It's that voice.
whatever, it's fake. He's got a voice. Mine
But he's
is
married.
fake. Okay. So anyway, here's what I believe with all my heart. So many times women pick incorrectly, and then they want to blame the man.
Mm-hmm.
Say it again.
Many times women pick incorrectly and want to blame the man. Most of my friends are female. And one of the things that I try to tell them on a continuum is men are probably one of the most consistent things you're going to ever see. Once we get into our routine, whatever our thing is, we usually do our thing. Whatever that thing is, we, in the dating period, will give you signs. But you all, women, and we're speaking in generalities, choose to ignore the signs that we give you prior to the relationship,
Or
assuming,
in the relationship.
assuming or presuming that you can fix it.
And I just want to add to what you were saying. You know, ladies, listen to what the man says. If the man tells you he's not ready to be serious, he's not really ready to be serious. You can't make him be serious. You can't trick him into being serious. You can't manipulate him into being serious because that's where he's at mentally. So listen to what he's saying and stop trying to fix him.
What did Maya say? Believe people the first time they show you who they are. We
Right.
misquote her and say tell you.
Mhm.
She said show you.
Yeah,
People
right.
show you who they are
And when they do believe them.
and believe them.
Mhm.
Now, I kind of want to go back because the statement was about being broken.
Mm-hmm.
And
I want to touch on that.
go.
Go ahead.
No, go past.
We run the risk. The responsibility for fixing brokenness in humanity is not a human responsibility.
Come on.
That's good.
That's the first problem is whenever, I don't care who it is, when I come at you as my brother or my sister with my toolbox, I'm not the manufacturer. I don't have the maintenance contract. I don't know how you were fearfully and wonderfully made without my participation.
That's good.
If you are broken, the one who made you needs to fix you. And I don't need to be connected to you on the basis of your brokenness. I need to be connected to you on the basis of your relationship with the manufacturer. If you don't have a relationship with the one who made you, then I can't do nothing with you.
Because you're not going to take the responsibility.
I can't
to
fix
do
it.
the
I
work.
can't
In
do.
yourself.
I
That's
can't
good.
do you. I can't fix you, and you can't fix you either.
Right.
The broken places in me, I can't fix them by myself. Is there some work I can do in participation with God? Yes, but if there's no relationship with the power greater than me, what's broken in me is what you get. What you see is what you get till
That's
God
good.
gets his hands on me.
Now we do dap and do high fives.
do?
People say
Okay.
good stuff.
All
over
right.
here.
So I get one.
Ah,
Yeah, all right,
There you go.
That's
All
good.
right.
Stop trying to fix broken. That's not your sign.
Glory. Now I'm going to say this as the woman at the table. You have to decide if you want to take, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, but if you want to take on that project.
Go with Jesus.
You
Get a better project.
Right. Get a better project. You know, I was a project manager in corporate America. Woo, Jesus, project manager, it's a lot of detail to get that project done. You got a timeline, you got a budget, and you better meet it. It's expensive. It's expensive. So you might want to count up the cost, sis, if you know and see he's broken.
Right.
And that don't mean nothing's wrong. He's a bad person. That just may not, you ain't equipped for that. You ain't been called to that.
Well, then I have a comment then, and now I'm about to jump into deep water.
Maybe.
So based on what Pastor is saying, if by chance a person is not spiritual, then he's unfixable.
No.
Okay, I'm just trying to
No,
get it.
You're not unfixable. By all means, God can fix anybody.
No, you don't. Without the God piece.
No. I'm not. God doesn't require you to do what God does. God can do with or without you.
We're not talking about Christianity.
You may never call God's name. That
Okay.
doesn't stop God from being able to do
Okay.
in you what God wants to do. You don't have any control over that part. And people can work on themselves by all means. There's nothing to stop a
Right.
person from working on themselves. Should a person, in my estimation, this is not Christian either. I am a Christian, but this is not Christian.
Okay.
When a person decides to be better,
Okay.
they have touched the God portion
Now
that's
I'm with
in
you.
them.
Okay.
If a person does not decide, let me give it to you this way. If you want to go deep, I'm going to go deep. My favorite theologian is a man named Dr. Howard Thurman.
Mhm.
Dr. Howard Thurman was a Christian, but he was transcendent beyond all of that, spoke in terms of religion in general and God in particular. Dr. Thurman says, in the human family, the way we were made, regardless of your religion, the highest in us is in us, and the lowest in us is in us. The potential for us to be the best we can be and the worst we can be is in humanity. So that when Jesus comes, for example, he represents in flesh the highest of humanity. Hitler, pick your poison, represents the lowest. Any one of us at this table,
Good
anybody
God.
else on the radio,
Good
has
God.
all of that in them.
Come on.
The difference is not what's in you, the difference is what you choose.
Okay, and that's I'm in.
If you choose to stay broken,
Yeah.
you are broken, and there's nobody who can change it. If you choose to be better, God will allow you better, and there's nobody who can change it.
That's good stuff. That's good
And
stuff.
might I just add
Please.
one other thing? While the sister cannot single-handedly change a broken man,
Not at all.
she can be supportive of a man,
Absolutely.
of a man who is on the
Amen.
man,
Absolutely.
and that's where the strength of her
Absolutely.
presence can come in.
That's
Absolutely.
good. You said on the man. You
Absolutely.
just want to stay
which,
broken.
which is a
Amen.
different
That's
situation.
a whole other
So,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
Now we're talking about somebody who's working towards
That's
something.
correct.
Exactly.
That's correct.
That's another piece
And
now.
she can play a critical role. in that
But I guess
Absolutely.
what I'm getting at is, you've seen sisters that you've seen them pick a guy that
No.
is a loser.
Right.
And they ain't trying to be nothing but.
and,
only wants to be a loser.
and
right.
as a friend, you look at her and say, "Girl, why would you?
What are you doing?
What are you thinking?"
Right.
And you don't want to be too dismissive because so many times once you bring that negative energy, they're going to cling on that much harder.
Yeah,
Exactly.
sometimes they sure do. we all do. Sometimes we sure
Yeah,
do.
and that's why she
We all
said at
sure
the
do.
start, it ain't like a car or a fix-up house.
Mhm.
It's a whole different
It's a whole different
project.
project. And
Yeah.
and I just sent my book back to my publisher, and at the end, the Holy Hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. That's a project. That was a project.
Yeah.
But at the end, the Holy Spirit had me add a chapter. But one of the things I talked about was when you see, the Bible talks about in Ezekiel to blow the horn. And if you see someone in danger making a bad decision,
Right.
you need to blow the horn. A lot of times what we see with our friends in relationships, we see that they're making a bad decision. You know what we say? Oh, I was praying. I'm praying that don't go forth. I'm praying that she don't do that. I'm praying. But you didn't open your mouth. Now, I know, Brother Thomas, a lot of times we open our mouths and people don't listen.
Or they turn against you.
Or they turn against you.
Right.
But you know what? That's their issue.
Right.
God has charged us to blow the horn. He said if you blow the horn and they don't listen, that's on them. But if I have shown you and you don't blow the horn, then it's on you. So I want to say in relationships, if you know something, you just pull their coattail. If they don't listen, that's on them. But if they do, they can't say, Rob didn't tell me.
Mhm.
Right.
He didn't
right.
try to warn me. If you love someone, you warn them, because we have too many divorces.
Exactly.
Mhm.
We have too many people making mistakes, and God's order of covenant is for it to last. And people grow apart and do all that stuff, Pastor.
I'm just agreeing.
Okay,
I'm good.
we going on. Okay, here we go. When a man, this is me. This is mine right here.
Uh-oh.
When a man, sisters, I draw near. When he is trying to do right, particularly about your kids and y'all not together anymore, please get out of his way. Get
Ooh,
out of his
amen.
way.
Come on now.
When he is trying to do right and provide for your children, spend time for them, and you trying to hold on because you still want him, you a hater, or you don't want to be with nobody else, would you get out of his way and let him provide for his children and spend time with his children? That was free. Okay, here we go. I know all y'all agree with that. Y'all ain't gotta say nothing. Just everybody
Don't
say
have
amen.
to.
Okay.
Right.
You need to be what you're looking for.
Mm.
What does that mean? You need to be what you're looking for.
I'll take that one. A lot of times, I think not all women, but a lot of women.
We don't even have to say that no more.
Okay. Have unrealistic expectations. Okay, you want this dude that's highly educated, makes six figures, built like a Hercules or somebody,
Okay, good, thank you.
and all this stuff.
Uh-huh.
But you are none of that. So I mean, how do you expect to get that kind of guy when you're not bringing anything to the table?
That's right. That's right. So financially, be what you're looking for. Spiritually, okay.
Right, like work towards what you want in your mate. if you're not, I mean, like if you want your mate to be all calm and nice and sweet towards you, and you mean and hateful,
Good guy, nasty.
and hard to get along with, how you expect to get that kind of guy? And why would that guy want to be with you?
Right. Nobody ain't just looking to be abusive. Okay, Adam's back there giving you a high five. You know, I remember
I got one for you too.
I remember hearing someone say, if you're a Bentley man, were you there? If you're a Bentley man, then you looking for a Bentley woman.
Exactly.
Well, I was talking to my blood brothers, my two brothers, about this statement, and my brothers are both successful men of God, love the Lord, and they said, quite honestly, I don't need 2 Bentleys in my garage.
Okay.
So he said, one of my brothers, he said, a sister with a nice, clean, modern Cadillac, he said, that woman is good too. He said, because 2 Bentleys in the same garage, there might be a sense of competitiveness.
Okay.
So it's where the Bible talks about being yoked. You know, this is my visual. If one of the oxes is going to be bigger, let it be the man, so they can pull. I don't want to be quote unquote bigger than my husband, because the yokes are not going to be even. But have this question, and we're going to take a break on this. Sisters, this is a statement, actually. If you know you cannot stay out of DSW, and every time you get a check, you spending $400, and you're going to send that man to bankruptcy court, you ain't ready for him. Break.
We're on Radio Next, Tuesdays with Tuesday.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you all so much. We had a great conversation while we were off the air, and I actually want Thomas to say what he said.
Well, I don't know what I said. I forget.
You talked about the application.
No, what I was talking about is that women, if you're honest with yourself, control most relationships. As a man, the only thing I can do is put in an application. As the woman, you have the power to determine if my application is going to be utilized, if it's going to be shredded, if it's going to be filed, if it's going immediately to the trash. And so many times, women get in relationships with men and they're mad at the man, but all I did is put in an application. You chose, you picked, you allowed this, whatever this was, to go further. Now, I will make one little caveat, and one of my female friends told me this years ago. Well, he sent his representative.
Yes.
Okay, I understand that.
That's why you do background checks.
But here's the key. Here's the key. Slowly roll. See, so many sisters are so busy to jump into deep water. Had you gotten in under 3 feet and walked to the deep water, you would have probably found what you was looking for. But no, you're going to go to that deep end and jump in feet first. And then you realize, oh, I made a mistake.
And you know you don't know how to swim.
Come on.
And the question is, we need more, this is one of the statements. We want you to be proud of us. And how you feed our ego determines the depth of our devotion to you and your desires. What does that mean, and what does that look like?
Who sent that question?
It's not a question. I don't look at them as questions. Yes, these are statements about what we want women to know about us.
Oh, okay.
The way I was understanding is we were supposed to put, this is what we want women to know that they may not know.
Okay.
So I framed mine that way. It's not a question. It's a statement as a man saying, I'll speak for myself.
No,
If a woman wants me to be devoted to her, she has to do some things to make me feel special to her. I'm just saying. And I know I'm a pastor. I'm not tripping off none of that. If you don't make me feel like the man, I'm not going to act like it when I'm with you.
It's 5 things.
You have to help me do some things. So I know I need a woman to help me to remember that I'm all that. I'm smart. I got my stuff together. You are on top of your game, baby. You going out there to kill that doggone thing. Going out there and make it happen. Make us $1 million. Change the world. Take me places I've never been before. If you believe in me like that, if I have a woman who can believe in me like that, I will build for her what she believes.
What's that old saying?
Preaching.
I will build it. If you believe
behind
it,
every
behind, you put it wherever you want to put it. If she believes it. She can be beside me, in front of me, on top of me, around the way, or whatever. If she believes in me, I will build for her whatever she can believe. If you believe I'm nothing, I will build you nothing. If you believe I am the man, I will be the man. You believe in me, I'll give you what you believe.
Well, the two things
so part of what you're getting back from me is what you believe out of me.
So what you put in.
So not even what you put in, what you believe.
Right.
If you can convince me that you believe, I'll go to work for you if you believe me.
That's good.
I'll build a house for you if you believe me. I'll create a business for you if you believe me.
In me, and
You believe in me, yeah. You believe in me, I'll write my name on it if you believe
All
in me.
right now. Well, you gonna say something?
No. What I was gonna say, the old saying is behind every great man is a great woman, which
Right.
he
He's
alluded
joking
to.
around behind the side, whatever, yeah.
But he said it doesn't matter. The whole point is with the aid and assistance of a positive help mate,
Absolutely.
a man can do great things.
Right. But the problem is,
The problem.
we have a lot of women today that's competing with the man.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta believe in me. And I compete with me.
And
Don't fight
so
me.
if you're in a relationship
Yeah.
with a woman that is competing with you, how do you expect that relationship to work? Because a man is gonna be a man. And if you acting like a man, you might get treated
You know
like
what? I
one.
used to have a saying.
Good God.
I used to have a saying
Yes.
that everybody in this house can't wear pants. So we got one pair of pants, and if you got the pants on, I'm not putting on the dress. We got a problem.
Well, it's back to order, and I contend that, and okay, I might get slammed for this, but it's okay. I think that God made women to submit, to come under, not to be lorded over, not to be controlled, not to you demand from me, because most of us want to feel like our man is running it.
Mm-hmm.
And so often we stay single so long, single mothers, single women, we're running it. It's hard to adjust to letting a man, I'll say, oversee things and submit under that. Actually, if we understand that, Pastor Hill did it, Mother Alexander, Lady Carol, they all came and talked about what submission looks like coming under. And it's really a safe place. And I recently I had a woman who, she's in her 50s. She just started dating like after 20 some years.
Ooh, good Lord.
And I know, right? And kids grown, all that, and she was making Valentine's Day reservations. And I said, whose name are you putting that in? She was like, mine. I said, no, you don't. No, you don't. Put it in his name. How does it look? Let's say her last name is Smith. Smith party of 2. His last name is Johnson. That ain't cute. Put it in his name. The reservation in his name. And she said, I never thought about that. So she asked him. And he was like, oh, I appreciate that. We just don't know how, a lot of times, how to come under that leadership. We'll grab the door. We'll forget. We'll grab our coat. We'll forget. So this is a question one of the women asked me. If you are with a woman who is not used to that or is out of that game, how do you help her to get back to that? To get back to learning how to let a man be a man?
Well, I think you tell her. I think you say, listen, let me get that for you.
Okay.
Slow down. Let me treat you like a lady. You know, let me do this for you. I mean, I know you can do it, but you don't have to do it because you got me.
That's good.
Agreed. You tell them, and then the other thing is you don't stop doing it because they don't let you.
Oh.
Just because you keep doing it anyway. There's a thing Thomas was saying about consistent. Men get a routine, get consistent. There's certain things I've been doing for so long. I just do them, and even if you don't want me to do it, if you have to tell me. See, some things you have to make me stop doing. Because some things I'm hardwired to do. I'm going to do certain things.
Is that good, bad, or indifferent?
It can be good, bad, or indifferent.
Okay.
Either way, and that's why there's got to be the dialogue and the practice.
Exactly.
If I'm with a woman who really you just never want me to open the door, I'm conditioned to open them. I was raised that way. Yeah. Southern parents, I was raised up that way. We've been doing that since we were little boys. You had no choice. You get that door. Yes, sir. You get that door. So I'm used to doing that. On the flip side, some women are not used to that. That's fine. And if you made up your mind that's what you just don't want, you're not going to have it, then shut me down. I'm going to continue to do over time what you reward me for. If you keep rewarding me for doing something, I'm going to keep doing it. If you punish me for something I'm doing, at some point, I'm tired of punishment. Get your own dang on door.
Exactly.
Pump your own gas. Build your own house. And then at that point, though, now I'm with them, though. At that point, if that's what you want, then you might not want Me.
Exactly.
That's good. That's good.
And that's okay. You don't have to want me. I don't need everybody to want me. I just need somebody to just the right one.
Right.
The right one. I don't want everybody. I just want one.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want them all.
Try to be solid.
I don't want them all.
Solid.
One is enough.
Most of the
It's a whole
time, this is a fact, or a stated fact of understanding, I'll say. Most of the time when men are angry with women, it is because he feels like she has disrespected him. We don't get angry about much. What are your thoughts on that?
That's a personal thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's such a broad statement. That is just each individual guy. I mean, human being.
Right.
I don't think there's a general synopsis that you can kind of put that on.
Right.
Because I'm probably one of the most passive guys you're going to ever find. But once you get me to that line, whatever that line is, then I'm a whole nother guy.
What is disrespect to a man?
Well, that could be so many things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I give you one though that I
Please,
think? I'll
we need to
give
know.
you one example that I think that bothers men generally, and that women may not always understand it. Since we're talking about what we might want them to know, in this is a big generalization, but I found it to be true a lot. A lot of times when couples may come to me for counseling or other scenarios when in my work in ministry, I'll find this dynamic, that the argument happens this way. A woman will say, I can't stand what you said. She will remember what you said, the words you used. Mm-hmm. She will say, no, that's not what you said. You said this. And then she'll go on to tell you, you said this when you had on your red shoes and your red jogging suit, and then it was on Tuesday, it was at 3 p.m., and I was watching.
Right.
A man oftentimes will say, you can't talk to me like that.
Right.
It's not what you said. It's how you said it to me. I'm not a child.
Right.
I'm a grown blank man. You don't talk to me like that.
Right.
So sometimes one of the things that men wish women would understand, it's not that we don't always want to hear what you have to say. Sometimes it's how you say what you want to say. If you talking to me like your 5-year-old son, I don't care what you said. I'm not going to probably hear that.
Right.
Preach, preacher.
Yeah. But if you come at me like a grown man, then I'm much more likely to be responsive and receptive. And the same thing, that while I'm saying that a woman may need to be more careful about the tone she uses, when you pick that stuff up off the floor, excuse me?
Right.
Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
And you may be dead right, I should pick it up. But now,
It's gonna
I'm going to see how long it's going to be before it gets picked up.
Right.
And then on the other hand, I think women sometimes want to say to us, think before you speak, sir. Because once you say it, you cannot unsay it.
And we
You
remember.
cannot unsay it. You cannot choose your words carefully. If you can't say it, then shut up till you can figure out how you want to say it. The right words make a world of difference when a man speaks to a woman. The right tone, in generalizations, makes a world of difference when a woman speaks to a man. I think women don't like bad tone either. I get that. And I don't like, you can't talk to me any kind of way either. I do pay attention to what you say, but I'm more inclined to listen to what you say if it's not with all that.
Flower, other stuff.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Piggybacking on that, disrespect can also be the environment in which you choose to say.
Say
You
Come on,
can't
sir.
say everything
Come on, man.
In front of everybody.
In front of everybody.
Yeah,
Right.
He could have took it a whole different way if you had put him to the side, or did it on the drive home, or went to you in the bedroom. Then you said it in front of his friends,
Right.
his family. I don't care if it was strangers.
At the ball, at church,
Exactly.
in the church parking lot.
So
In the
women-
pastor's
Everybody say
Be-
private.
private.
Right. Hallelujah.
Be conscious of the environment in which you decide to bring a man anything.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's true. And I think that's a that's a two-way street.
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
definitely a two-way street. Yeah, you can't do that in front of anybody.
But you know what, you all, and let's be honest, we're so much more fragile than women. And at the end of the
I'll
day,
give you that.
a woman can take a verbal abuse different than we can, because you hurt my little male ego, and I'm devastated for 6 months. She goes to her girlfriend's house, cries for 15 minutes, and she's back.
Now, Thomas, I'm gonna say this. I don't
Yes,
think it's
that'd be my
more.
suggestion.
I think it's different.
Yeah, it's just different.
I think the things that, because you could say, you upset about that? Tuesday, I wouldn't have been mad if you had said that to me.
Mhm.
At the same time, Tuesday could say, why are you not talking anymore? not even knowing that she said something that hurt my feelings.
Right.
We're just wired a little different. So we have to be, I don't think it's more or less on either side.
Just got to be sensitive in a way.
Exactly.
The person you're
We're
with.
different.
Okay.
Know your partner too.
Right.
You know, we're going to take this break, but this is I posted something a few weeks ago that said, talk to her right, you'll get Niagara Falls. Talk to her crazy, you'll get the Sahara Desert. We'll be right back.
Ouch.
Okay,
Ouch.
so don't look for the perfect man. Look for the man who's perfect for you. What is that about?
That's the truth.
That's like, you ain't gonna find a perfect man, first of all. So let's get that out the way.
Absolutely.
Find somebody who hooks up with what your major needs are. You know you better than anybody knows you. Find someone who complements in some ways, and I would even say who's different in other ways, who can fill some voids that you have because you know what they are, whether you confess them or not. So find someone who is as complimentary as you can determine, given the application and the interview, and then you will have time to figure out if you make the right choice before you take the plunge.
You know something, Vernon, and I've said this a billion times, and that is, give me a woman that's going to make me a better man.
There you go.
That's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
There you go.
That's it.
Lift you
And
up.
that's the piece I was saying about the whole ego thing. You want me to, if you build me up, what I'm
Mhm.
building is for you.
That's right.
Exactly.
I want as a man to build for you. If you believe in me, I'll build it. If you support me, encourage me, I'll build. If you don't, I won't. And it's the same. It's the same principle. The idea is, well, I look at it. I say it sometimes this way. This is a real broad generalization. It's not always true, but oftentimes men come to a relationship with a vision, but women have all the inspiration. Catch the difference.
I'm with you.
A person with a vision and no inspiration lives in frustration. I see where I want to go. I don't have the energy to get there, so I'm frustrated. I know we can have more than this, but we don't, because I need you to be my inspiration so that we can have our destination.
Come on.
And on the flip side, if you have inspiration, so you're a woman, you're filled with all this inspiration, but you have no vision. That's why you can't decide whether you need Fred or Ted or Ned.
Keep
or
it real.
Jed
That's what I'm talking
or
about.
a sled or whatever else, because you're full of inspiration. You have all this passion and energy, but no vision to focus it. When a woman's inspiration is focused like a laser, you can burn through anything, but she needs the man to, the vision and the inspiration. And sometimes it flips around. Sometimes the woman is the visionary, and the man. I mean, I'm not trying. It's a generalization, but if you don't have both of them, the
Right.
parts that complement each other.
That's right.
If I'm a visionary, I don't need another visionary. That's two Bentleys in the same garage.
God.
If I got a Bentley on one part of the garage, I won't be a Ferrari or a Corvette or a motorcycle. Something else I can ride. Yeah, because you don't drive your Bentley everywhere.
Everywhere.
Come on.
I drive my Bentley everywhere. Some days the Bentley need to be in the garage so the drop top can roll out.
That's right.
And some days the drop top need to be in because it's Bentley weather. So I need,
You might
I
need
need
a navigator
both.
up in there,
So if
too.
I'm a visionary, then I need an inspirational person, because if vision without inspiration is frustration, and inspiration without vision is destruction. Women will destroy themselves trying to get somewhere, and they lose everything. Yeah, without a vision, the people perish. And without inspiration, the people don't build. So we need the fire and the focus. We need both. And that's what it is. You need a partner who complements you. So if you're a visionary woman, stop looking for a visionary man.
Good God.
Look for an inspirational man.
Come
Yeah.
on.
And if you are a visionary man, stop looking for a woman with a vision. You got one. Get a woman who's got inspiration so y'all can build the world.
And a woman will follow a man
With a vision. Hello, somebody.
Hallelujah.
The good
Yes,
one
she
will.
will.
Anyway, the right
Yes,
one
she
will.
will.
The right one will. The
Yeah,
wrong
yeah.
one will.
Tear it down. Tear it down.
Repaint your vision. Try to remodel your vision. Change the color of your vision. Why is it supposed to be pink?
Redress your business. So you need to bring something to the table. So when we say that a woman, you guys say a woman needs to bring something to the table. What does that mean? What does that look like?
He just told you. He just told you. It's nothing that's specific nor tangible. You're bringing something to the table to complement this relationship to take it to that next level.
Absolutely.
And that's it. And how, whatever that it is, because it's
Will be
different
different.
for all people.
Right.
But whatever that it is, you recognize it in yourself as a human being. And this is the thing that's missing. I'm not good at this, but if I had somebody that was good at that,
Right.
the combination, we can go to the moon.
Absolutely.
That's good.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of times we 1 Corinthians about what love is, and I said this in another setting, that a lot of times we're looking for love, and I'll talk about women. We're looking for someone to love us like that, but we don't even love ourselves that way.
Come on.
I would say that would be true maybe for men as well, but since we all women all love, we don't. We keep score of ourselves. We beat ourselves up. We're not kind to ourselves, but we expect the man to come in and do all that. And one of the statements that one of the gentlemen submitted was, we can't expect a man to be everything for us. That's who God should be.
Mm-hmm.
You know the line is a real simple
Absolutely.
line. I am not in charge of your happiness.
That's true.
Amen, bro.
You know, and that's really, again, I like to keep it simple. So if I need to satisfy you, please you, make you happy, make your day, all these things, I have to do these things in order for us to get along. We got a problem coming out of the gate. If I am in charge of your happiness, I mean, you weren't happy when you got here.
In charge, y'all. Did y'all hear that?
You know, and there's nothing I can
Didn't
do to
say
fix that.
attitude. He said in charge.
And so the minute something goes wrong that she doesn't like, then she's blaming her unhappiness on you.
Mm-hmm.
So this was, I can't save you, only God can do that.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. So learn to love yourself first, and then you know, the law of attraction. I had a whole issue with that thing, you know. Anyway, it's sowing and reaping. I get it. I get that. It was very easy for the world to receive the law of attraction. It was palatable. They could swallow it, but it's a biblical concept. It's a biblical concept. What you sow, you're going to reap.
Right.
If you're sowing, as Brother Robert said earlier, love and kindness and gentleness and all those fruits of the Spirit, then you're going to attract that. Have a question. Have someone ask this question. If you believe, wait a minute, I want to read it the way she said it. She was on it. Okay, this is the one that's kind of funny. Man, please know that.
Well, it's got you laughing out
Yeah.
loud.
So look, when she has to preface the statement by starting off that way,
Oh, Lord.
you know it's something. We done stepped in there.
Here we go.
They
Here we
said
go.
to please let the men know menstrual cramps are real.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
They do lead to murderous behavior. So
Murderous behavior.
But you know what?
please proceed with caution.
I dated her. And here's my problem with that. Now, so we're gonna get personal.
I didn't
Here's
date her.
my problem
That's
with
Thomas.
This is Thomas Griffin.
He dated her. Let's make sure we know who dated her.
Here's my problem.
It was not the rest of us that dated her. Thomas dated her.
If this is something that you have had since your pubescent years,
Yeah.
Wow.
and you know it's going to come around every so often, okay? You still with me? Then don't use that as a scapegoat to try to explain something that you
Bad behavior.
did. Very good, bad behavior. Because if you know, okay, this week is probably not going to be a good week. If you truly care for me, can a brother get a heads up? Can a brother get a heads up? But instead, what you choose to do is do something crazy and abstract, and then come back after the fact and say, "Oh, that's because I was." Well, I got a problem with that. You know, and look, y'all can see my face. I'm not happy.
That's good. That's good. Real talk.
Yeah.
Okay. Why is it difficult for men to talk about emotional things or communicate their feelings?
Not mature enough, not seasoned enough, and then maybe haven't found the real or the right one.
I would say a couple of things along with. I don't disagree with any of that. I think there are some very immature. Sometimes men are trained not to be tough, man up, get up, and don't cry, boy. Get out there, and you ain't broken. Go on and get that, fight again. I get that. There is some truth to that. The other thing is that in terms of they're talking about relationships with women.
Absolutely.
Much of what men face in the course of the day, women do too. We find ourselves fighting for something all day. We fight in business, we fight for our jobs, we fight for our freedom, we fight for success, we're fighting to achieve. And then we got to come home and we want to be vulnerable. But sometimes it seems like some women don't want to see they say they want to see the soft side in us. But then say, you so soft. If you don't give me a space to be vulnerable, then I'm not going to be. If what you show me is I need thug life tough man, but what you say to me is talk to me. When I talk to you and you treat me like I'm soft and not like I'm strong, I'm gonna stop talking to you. I'm only gonna keep doing what you reward. If you reward me for being a thug, I'm your thug. If you reward me for being sensitive, then I'll be sensitive. Pay attention to how you reward me. If you don't make me safe when I'm vulnerable, I ain't gonna tell you nothing.
That's good.
Not how I feel. I'm gonna tell you I'm strong. It doesn't matter to me. I'm strong. I got this. I'm good. I'm gonna call Thomas and tell him.
There's a poem in a book that I wrote called Sonnets for My Sisters called Superman. And the preface for Superman is women are by nature nurturing. All of their childhood, they play with dolls, they play house. And then they grow up trying to emulate that childhood behavior. Boys, on the other hand, are filled with testosterone-laden behaviors. We want to be king of the hill. We want to be the spaceman. We want to be cops and robbers. We want to be Superman. So as adults, we often try to fulfill that childhood fantasy and being Superman. Once we become more familiar with ourselves, we learn how to face our vulnerability and how to give it up and not worry about the risk. Part of the risk, I'm gonna just be honest, is unless you know that that's your woman, unless you know she got your back,
Right.
you put your stuff out there on Front
Right,
Street,
right.
and then she uses it
Right,
against
come
you,
on, come on
or
now.
she crush you.
Come on.
as a result.
Use it
That's
again. You
that's
gonna
some
use it
stuff.
again,
use it again.
That's some stuff that a brother cannot easily recover from.
Right.
I'm
And
just,
that
I'm just telling
loyalty,
you.
loyalty and respect are different.
Well, the thing of it is, it comes down to if the woman portrays his trust. Like because it's hard for a man to open up to a woman, but once he does, and then she portrays his trust, she pretty much is done. I mean, he'll probably never, he will never really open up to her again because he can't trust that she will keep it, use it in the right way. If she goes out and starts telling this business to everybody, and he's like, well, that was in confidence. Didn't you have common sense to know that was between you and I, and now you've exposed
And
me?
will be slow to tell the next woman things
And-
about
right,
it.
exactly.
Which is unfortunate, but
It's just
true.
reality.
So so not only going outside of the house, but keep bringing it back up.
Yeah, you don't want to, you don't want to be beat over the head with something that you said because you thought that you were to the point where you could really let your inside out.
Right.
You don't want to be beat over the head with it every other weekend.
And truth be told, though, the truth is, if women would listen to what we're saying about what we need, that is a male need. One of the things we need is a place to release that we feel safe.
That's true.
We need we need to know that we can have Rob and I both fly. You need to know you can have a safe landing.
Come on, come on.
You know, it doesn't even always have to be soft.
Right.
It just has to be safe.
Wow.
And some landings are bumpy. You struggle because the wind is coming at
knock
you.
your
You're not
side to
100%
side.
sure how it's going to turn
Right.
out. But as long as you know the runway ain't moving,
Come on.
that the runway I'm landing on is where it was. It's
Come
not
on.
going. The winds may be blowing.
Come on.
The stuff may be difficult. I don't have to have a
Safe.
soft landing. I have to have a safe landing.
Safe.
And when I come to you to land, if you're not ready to be my airport, be the control tower at least and say, not today, baby. Today is not a safe day to land. Circle until we can get the runway to just circle.
That's good, pilot.
Don't tell nobody else. Stay around this
That's
airport.
good. Right.
Circle. Keep me in view. Stay in contact with me, but don't tell me yet because the runway is not clear. It's not safe.
Come on.
Don't let me
That's a
land
good analogy.
until it's only because we fly. They don't know what
Well,
I'm doing.
people started like inboxing me. Oh, that was good. That was good.
So I need a woman who's safe, and I want to be there for her. She needs to know that when it's time to land, when you want to land, baby, I need to be able to say, you are, sweetie, clear for landing. Runway MJ is ready for you. Bring whatever it is. I may not like it. It may be rough, but you are safe to land here.
That's good.
That's good.
I got fire departments ready. If you catch fire, I got whatever you need. You're going to have a safe landing. Am I on that thing?
You on that thing.
All right, you on that
That was good.
Preach, Mike Jones. I think I did.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm going to take up an offering now.
I need that. We know this play.
That is good. So how important, I think you kind of said that, how important is communication in your relationship?
Come on, it's
Okay.
everything. It's urgent,
But since we communicate differently,
right? Well, you know what? In the Thomas Griffin book
okay.
that has not been written yet,
Okay.
it truly says, and y'all don't take my stuff, but I mean, this is my stuff. My kids know this one. In all relationships, communication understanding, compromise. You got to have those three, in my opinion, and the reason why is what you just said. We speak differently, and what you think you're communicating with me, and I'm thinking I'm communicating with you. But if we have not consistently come to the conclusion or the revelation that I'm understanding what you're talking about,
Yes.
and then let's be honest,
That's a good time.
we're human beings.
That's good.
We're never going to agree 100% on anything.
That's good.
So then how much are you willing to compromise?
That's good.
Where's that compromise? So communication, understanding, compromise. If you got those three things, a dog and a cat can get it on all day.
I'll toss this one out as well, that I've learned over time now that a lot of people, when we think we're communicating, a lot of people have come to this realization. I've come to this realization. A lot of people don't listen well either. We're not active listeners. Most of us listen to respond, not listen to understand. So while Thomas is talking to me, I'm figuring out, okay, his points were A, B, and C. I'm gonna counter them with D, E, and F, as opposed to let me understand what A, B. I don't even know. I'm so busy trying to figure out how to shut down A, B, and C. I didn't really listen to what A, B, and C were because I was more concerned about my response than his concern.
Seek first to understand and then to be understood.
Saint Thomas, one of the greatest prayers. Lord, make me an instrument of Thy peace. That's one of the greatest prayers of all time.
And I just want to say, ladies, we are not mind readers.
good.
my
We
goodness.
want you to say what you mean and mean what you say.
Man.
How can you read your mind, baby?
Please do not think
I
that
know
we
what
can
you're
read your
thinking
mind.
about the song. No, that's not true. I'm just
You know
playing.
what?
I'm just
You're
playing.
about to really start a fight. And again, I can give you life examples, and I hate to put his business out there. I know a guy who's a musician. He travels the country playing. When he comes home off the road, he's tired because he's been in different time zones, and he wants to come to his safe place
To land.
and
Right, right.
relax.
Mhm,
But he's got kids at home, little kids under the age of 12, under the age of 10. The woman who's been home while he's been on the road is tired. She's mad because she can't understand why he doesn't understand that she's tired because she's been with these kids all week. But she's not understanding. I've been in different time zones, so when I would have been sleeping, I'm wide awake.
Right.
My body's all in
From 9 o'clock
yeah.
to 4 in the morning.
And so where is that compromise that she didn't communicate with him, he didn't communicate with her, and she assumed that he should have known. You should have known. And that was a big argument. You should have known I was tired. I've been here with the kids. Again, communication, understanding, compromise could have, I mean, it's not always going to work, could have alleviated that problem.
So after he's rested, or when he's not on the road, y'all need to sit down and have a conversation about what this should look like.
All right, ring, baby, I'll be home at 3 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. Okay, well, you know I've been with these kids all week. When you get home, I want you to sleep, I want you to rest, I want you to come back 100%. But after that, can I get a break?
Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, come
Right.
on. Communication, understanding,
Right.
and compromise.
Okay, here we go. How important is sex to men?
What age?
There is some truth to that too. There is some.
I never heard that.
Well,
He said depending on the
What
age.
age?
some truth to that. But not
Yeah. I'm going to tell you something else. Now, I'll tell my
And then I want to hear Robert.
I want to hear Rob
Oh,
too.
the mic.
Yeah, Rob.
Yeah,
He was getting ready to talk to it.
I'm
Let me talk to
I'm
it.
gonna be quick with this one. When I first got divorced from my wife, and then about a year later, I made my top 10 list of if I ever get married again and get another girlfriend, these are the 10 things that she has to have.
It's not
Wow.
that. It's been 20.
Okay.
And then no, each few years that
It gets
list
smaller.
changes.
It gets
Wow.
shorter.
It changes.
Smaller.
The 10 things change.
Okay. Right.
And so if sex was up in the top half, it may not be in the top half at this age.
In stage of life, this stage of life. Exactly.
Right,
That's what
right.
some truth to that. Exactly.
I want to.
Yeah.
I want to say sex is very important to a man. I mean, it's like high, like extremely high. But I will agree with you as you get older because it's not just about sex. Because you know, you got to have a brain too. Because you know, after sex, we got to be able to talk. We got to be able to communicate. We got to be able to have some understanding, just like what we said. You know, so if all we got is sex, then that ain't enough. Because if we have sex and I can't understand what you're saying, you can't understand what I'm saying, we got problems.
Yeah, but think about this. I'm probably old enough to be your father. And so when you get to be my age, again, I'm telling you from experience, that perspective is going to change. Now, you a married guy.
Thomas Griffin speaking now.
You know, Charles Williams, who I was blessed to be able to write a book about when he had his prostate cancer, he said that one of the frustrations of the disease was he was no longer able to perform.
Right.
And he said it made him think that he was no longer a man. And he said that he had a good mate at that time, and she taught him that there are ways to make love other than
That's where I want to
sexually.
Right.
And that there were ways of intimacy that didn't involve even taking your clothes off. So as long as you understand, now I don't mean to minimize it, because I know, sex is important in the world.
It is
okay?
important.
Can't play like it's not, because it is. We can't fool ourselves.
Absolutely.
But if you have the right relationship and you build that kind of relationship up, let's put it like this. If everything was right, but the sex couldn't happen anymore, and the sex was great, but everything else was wrong, that first relationship is going to last. That second relationship is going to fall apart.
Right. I want to touch on that too, because I think we missed the point when we make sex. We have divorced sex from the rest of our humanity. So that sex is an act we participate in for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, however many minutes you go. And yet that's not intimacy,
Right.
and the spiritual connection that relationships should be. Anybody can have sex.
Right.
That's why I make a distinction.
I don't think you're getting ready to say what I was
But
gonna
when people talk about it from a different kind of perspective, which I consider a spiritual one, and that's again not necessarily but spiritual one. A spiritual one, we talk about making love. If just from the language alone, just linguistically, if you believe God is love, then if I'm going to be with you, when I make love to a woman,
Create God.
I am making God. It is an act of worship. It's a whole bunch of stuff, and I
Preach that.
I cannot
Preach
just
that
worship
thing.
you with my hands. I love the Lord. When we worship God with our heart, soul, mind, and strength. If I'm not loving you 4 ways, I ain't had sex with you yet.
Good God, that's a break. Thank you so much. Okay, this is a question we have. I'm a single woman over 45, financially independent. They say they feel they're fairly good looking. I know this person. I think they are cute too. Say every single brother they meet is not interested in marriage. They say they want the sex, but they don't want the commitment. Why is that, and what should we do if we want to wait?
We talked about that on the show I was on with you before, when someone asked me as a divorced pastor, do I want to be married again? And my answer was kind of simple, but I hope it makes sense to this sister. I hope she's listening. And this may not be all of it, but for some brothers, for me, my desire and my number one goal is not marriage. My desire and my number one goal is a healthy relationship. So if we start early talking about marriage, I don't want to talk to you about marriage. I want to talk to you about you. I don't want to talk to you about marriage. I want to understand how you became financially independent. I want to know what you love. I want to learn how to love your mind, your soul, and everything else. If you give me your body, I'll take it. If you give me your body too soon and I take it, I'll never marry you. If you give me a chance to get to know you and see that the relationship is valuable, if I value you, I might want you. And here's the distinction. This is a biblical distinction, but I love this distinction. I taught my daughter this. I teach my goddaughters this. There's a parable in the Bible that says there was a man who went by and found a pearl that was amazingly priceless, but he didn't have the money to get it. But he wanted it so bad, he went back home, sold everything he had, and came back to buy it once he realized how important it was to him. If you let me spend time investigating you, evaluating you, getting to know you, spending time with you, I appreciate that you're financially independent. I am too. I like your house. I got a house too. I know you got a car. You 45. You're a grown woman. You all in the bag of chips. There's 100 million of them. But I want to get to know you. If I have a healthy relationship with you, then marriage is on my mind. Don't put marriage on my mind until I can't get you off my mind.
God Almighty, that's
Way to
good.
do it,
But they
Pastor.
said so. Should they even, since they desire to be married, should they even stay in a relationship with someone who's made it clear they're not interested?
No,
Okay.
But
not unless it's go. If they tell you they didn't want it at all, ever.
Right. But here's the key. If you remember something I said earlier, you're moving too fast.
Yes.
You're moving too fast.
Right.
So if you enter into a relationship, and again, I can use examples. Another female friend, every guy she met, she's sizing up to try to marry.
Right.
Before
And it's
she's
like,
meeting,
you
doesn't
don't
even
even
know
know
it.
it.
Right.
You don't know anything about him. You don't know enough about him.
Right.
Slow your roll. Women, look, I'm gonna make a statement. Women, slow your roll. Do your homework. Create a relationship, not necessarily sexual, but create a relationship and then study.
Absolutely. If you're going to be a queen and you want a king, royal families have a court. We used to call dating courting in my parents' and their parents' generation, and we used to make it be like it was about judges in the courtroom, like it was a judgment. But really, the language and the history of that comment comes from royalty. A queen has a court. The court are close advisors, wise people who help them evaluate and make royal decisions. If you want to get right, you got to slow down and have a court to help you in this relationship. It's not just you investigating me. I need to meet your mama. You need to know my mama. I need to know who's crazy in your family. You need to know who's crazy in mine. I need to know some more about you. I need to get, and we need to bring it into the royal court. My pastor needs to meet you. My mama needs to meet you. My sister, I told my daughter that, and you know I don't have a biological daughter, but I call her my daughter. She's my goddaughter. She's my daughter for all practical purposes. There is no woman on this planet I will marry if that woman does not pass court with her. Period. Because I'm more interested. I'm fully committed to my child. I'm in forever with that. And all I'm saying is though that you got to have court. So when you bring people into the courtroom, into the court, royal people have a court. And then so that when the queen enters, her court prepares the way for her. When the king enters, his court prepares the way. It ain't just my evaluation because I'm all in it, my head's in it, my heart's in it, my feelings in it. I need you who doesn't care nothing. I ain't trying to be with her. And you don't need to be with her either. I need you in my court to tell me, brother, stop.
Right now, I want to give a shout out to Pastor A. Thomas Hill.
Stop it.
Hallelujah.
Stop it.
What makes a man push a woman away even though he admits he cares about her and wants her?
That's a great question.
What makes a man push a woman away? Even though, well, it depends on if the woman is pushing things too fast, or depends on if the guy's not ready and she's ready and he knows. I mean, sometimes men push women away because they see that she's a good woman, but they're not ready for all of that.
That's good.
So instead of holding her up for, she may want to get married right now, he may not. Instead of holding her up and wasting her time, he'll love her enough to let her go and find somebody that, you know, maybe where she's at. He may still love her, may still care about her, but he's not ready for all of that.
Is fear one of those factors for men?
Yeah. Fear, rejection.
Fear is a factor.
Yeah, but you know, piggybacking off of what he just said, just think about your female there that's 45 and got it going on, all these things, and I'm between jobs and my finances aren't where they want to be. I'm a great guy, but right now, at this moment in my life, I'm not there. And so if I really care for you, for me to try to pursue this relationship knowing that right now I'm not bringing what I would prefer to bring to the table.
Now, if you put all these pieces together, that's Thomas, and he said something else too. If you're going to, the thing you have to do, I think, that makes it fair to the woman and the man is to use your CUC, communicate and understand. At this point, you got to tell her that. You have to be able to say to her, sweetheart, this is where I am. If she says, I understand, and I still want to make this work, now we can compromise. But if we don't have the conversation, then that's what makes, so lack of communication also in part causes men to push a woman away, and vice versa. It's sometimes we don't communicate clearly what we really want. We communicate what I think you want me to say, as opposed to what I'm really trying to tell you.
And I say that's what I call lay all my cards on the table.
Some point, we got to tell the truth.
Yeah, you see all my cards, so now you don't have to guess. And real quick, coming back to your 45-year-old, don't know anything about her, she's got it going on, but two things that she may have left out, and I don't know. Are you bringing children into this thing, whatever you're trying to establish? And what we all in this room know, you don't marry the person.
You married a family.
You married a family.
True.
And if you got a cuckoo cow cousin,
Did I mention that? I did say you gotta put it in court. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
sorry. Yeah.
And I know this, and every time I'm with you, you're telling me about something that Tyrone did, and I'm like,
Tyrone is
okay.
your past man.
You know, no, Tyrone is your brother, your cousin, and I'm
Right, I
like,
need to borrow some money because we got to go get Tyrone.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
yeah, you know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
And so
right.
after
Baby,
two or
can
three
you
of
come
those,
sit down here with me because Tyrone got
he got shot last night. I'm at the
And
hospital.
I'm going to pay
I'm
$1,000
like,
to give you a
do I
Yeah.
want to take?
Can you help me get my car
But I've
back because I
seen
let
that.
Tyrone take
No.
it.
Oh.
See, but I've seen that on the men's side too.
And
but
see,
all-
that's why you gotta have court. Kings and queens
That's
have
good,
court.
right.
The
And they have their
take
own
over all
court.
of that.
Yeah.
The Queen's court is not on the king's side, and the king's court is not. I got my own court. You got your own court. I have to come to your court before I can get your attention, and vice versa. You gotta have a court, yeah, buddy.
And look, and if you're unfortunate enough to not have a court, slow your roll.
Yes.
Slow your
Go get
No, get a court.
You know,
Don't have no relationship. Go get a court first, and then call me when you get your court together.
why is it that men do not like to be asked questions?
Well, it depends on
On
the
the
question,
question.
or what's the motive behind the question,
Exactly.
or are you trying to catch me in something?
Right.
It just depends on the question, or why are you asking me the
I
question.
contend that a lot of times I'm a teacher by nature. I like to understand. I like to
Okay.
understand people. I like to, so I ask questions. My career, one of my careers was a systems engineer. The other thing was I was an auditor. So I had learned this art of asking questions.
Right.
But I also learned that my gifts and how God uses me is to gain understanding. When I understand, I can fully support you. I'm behind you, behind the visionary, all of that. However, I used to say to people in leadership positions, there's a difference between you asking me questions because you want to understand versus asking me questions because you think you know.
Well, I'll flip it this
And
way.
you think you know better.
I'll flip it this way. There's a difference between questions for understanding and an interrogation.
Oh, that's good.
When police do an interrogation, they already think you're guilty.
Exactly.
They're just trying to get you to spill
admit
it,
it.
to say something,
Yeah,
to catch you,
yeah.
To
up in
verify
something.
their belief.
But when someone wants to understand, those questions are different. So when my little niece asks me questions, she's 10 now, and she says things to me like, well, why do some cars have manual transmissions and some cars have auto? She loves cars. She's trying to understand.
Inquisitive.
That's a different kind of question. She loves cars. She's learning how to drive. She's tall, so she's learning how to steer the car. She drives the video games, and Lord, she's ridden around the parking lot, and it's just my car and nothing else in it. With
Don't
me,
tell nobody.
that's between us in this
We don't
room, and
know
nobody
that.
listen out yet. None of that. But that's one set of questions. But when you turn the hot light on me and interrogate me, and you ask me the same question, and then you spin it around and say, okay, let me try it this way. Let me try it this way. Let me see how you answer it if I ask it this way. Let me try to trick you this way. Let me good cop, bad cop. Let me ask you this question. Then ask you 5 more questions about nothing else. Then come back around and ask you another question. See, at that point, it's not just men who
You
don't want
made
to
me tired.
It's not just men who don't want to answer questions. Women don't either.
Right. But I will say something else to that point. If you have a relationship or call yourself being in a relationship where you have to ask all these questions,
Right.
then the
There
relationship
it
is
is.
already
That's-
flawed.
You
Yeah,
did
you have a trust issue.
I'll tell you what, I've said this. This is something I put on my Facebook page a few months ago. I just believe it to be true. When a person really loves you, while they should tell you, they don't have to. Because love does more than it says.
Come on.
When a person really loves you, they should tell you, I love you, man. I love you. Too.
Oh, okay.
I love you. I should say to you, I love you. But if I don't, you should know it anyway because my behavior should say it louder than my voice. Now, I should say it. I'm supposed to say it. You deserve to hear it. You need to hear me say it to you. But if I say it and don't show it, I'm a liar. If I show it and don't say it, I'm stupid.
Okay.
There's a difference between being stupid and being a liar. Telling you I love you and behaving like I don't, I'm a liar. Behaving like I do and not saying it, I'm just stupid.
But y'all do know they want to hear.
They need to hear it. And you know what? Can I give you a secret? They're not the only ones who need to hear it. You do not know how much you make a man's day when you
You do know all
baby.
we hear that.
Baby, I love you. You are a little text like that, you the man. I love you. You expect little stuff. Y'all like to get little
You know
flowers
what?
and little stuff.
I got a theory on that.
Dog,
What's
man.
the theory?
It's in the Thomas Griffin book that has
There
been
it
written.
is.
I gotta get. Can I pre-order?
Right.
Yeah. Here's what I
I wanna get it
believe with
today's
all my
price.
heart. Men are 90% ego.
I've said that. That's what I said earlier.
And women, if you just
feed the
understood
ego?
that, which is what you've been saying in a different way,
Yeah.
if you understood, you stroke our little fragile male ego, you can make a man walk through fire.
We will do anything.
Walk
anything.
through fire for you.
Can I just, as a freebie, and then do nothing that you said too. I want to say this to all the women who say all men are dogs. Can I just address that real quick?
Yes, please.
As
We do know that's not true.
no, it's not true. But
Okay.
if that's what you keep getting, there's a couple things I want to suggest to you. If you choose
Hold
dogs,
your breath, grab your breath.
if you choose dogs because that's what you want, the best dogs are trainable. Train him, and he will be the dog you desire.
I be wanting to tweet stuff. I don't have enough hands, right?
However,
Should have brought
if,
a laptop.
if you don't want dogs, then stop. But if all you get is dogs, I'm telling you, I have had dogs, and I've had friends who've had dogs. A trained dog that's really trained is an amazing
Now them
thing to see.
Denmarks, Tracy and her husband,
They got-
Patrick, they got some trained
They
dogs.
sit when you tell them. They stand when they roll over.
They
they'll
lift
play
up
dead,
their paw
whatever you need.
to clean them.
I'm telling you, but see, but it takes energy and effort to train. So if you got a dog and that's what you're settling for, at least train him so he can be your dog,
And
the kind of dog, so he can be a loyal dog,
Yeah.
so he can be a faithful dog, so he can be designed to protect you, dog. But if you don't want dogs, stay out of the dog
And stay
farm.
away from the Humane Society.
What are you doing?
Exactly.
If you don't want a dog, leave it. But if you gotta have a dog, train them. And all you say men are like the fine, then you be a dog trainer. And you raise up the one, you not raise a boy, train a dog. You don't have to have a puppy. You can get a grown dog. If you put in the time, dogs will always respond to reward.
That's true.
Reward me and I'll bless you. Dog me and I'll bite you.
The dog whisperer. Women become dog whisperers.
Stop getting bit by these dogs.
What frightens a man? What frightens a man?
Women. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
What frightens a man?
That was a
Right.
good question.
I'll give you one truth for me.
Okay.
One simple. What frightens a man? Fatherhood and failure. Not connected necessarily.
Right.
Being fathers is frightening
Right.
because it's an amazing thing to. How do you do this?
Right.
And failure. I don't know any man not somewhat afraid of failure. I mean, we get past it. We know that failure is not final. I don't know a single man who likes to fail.
I think that failure is probably a lot more important than you really. You know,
I don't think we like that. I don't like to fail ever.
It's
not-
major.
it's not in my
and
DNA.
especially in our community.
I hate failure.
I think it's
Yeah.
20 times worse.
Yeah.
So, and I hear us failing at what? What?
Failing at relationships, failing in a business, failing with our money, failing with our children, failing in trying to. When we have sometimes, some men have tried so hard. I just want to please you. I just want to. They have given their best, which may not be your best, and so it looks like failure. That's why we love. There's a church song. I'm churchy. There's a church
I've
song
been
that
there
says, if when you give the best of your service, telling the world that the Savior has come, be not dismayed if men or women don't believe you. He'll understand and say, well done. And it's hard for us to get that our best is good enough when others sometimes make us feel like a failure. And so failure is a fear for me. I'm not speaking for all men,
But most men-
most of the men I know, fatherhood is a fear. We don't know what to do. We don't know. And sometimes that's why we punt. But baby, take care of these kids. We don't know what we're doing. And that's wrong. We need to face that fear.
Is marriage a fear? I could tell.
Oh, yeah, I would say for a lot of men, marriage
Because
is fear.
it's a fail. You could
But-
fail.
Yeah, that and
The
you know the unknown. And here's the
Yeah.
thing: think about like for men, you know.
Period. The unknown.
Yeah.
Yes, because you're giving, like for a man, you're giving yourself, like you're giving up, you know, you're giving yourself to this person, and so it takes a lot for a man to just give himself to anybody, you know, like really just relinquish his name, relinquish when a man marries a woman, Pastor Johnson put it like this: that's the highest commitment that you can ever commit to with a person, when if a man marries a woman, he's giving you pretty much his everything. He's giving you his name, and you get everything that comes along with that name. You know, because
Well, you know, there's another side. I mean, not another, but just from a different perspective. We've said fear of the unknown.
Right.
And then here's where I'm going, is that as a guy, when you were 10, 15, 11, 12, 25, whatever, what point in your life you say, man, I can't wait till I get married?
No.
I'm going to have a nice three-piece
Where
suit.
women have done that.
Yeah,
Right,
where
right.
women have planned, and this has
Right.
been a vision and a
Right.
goal and a
Right.
destination.
Right.
So the whole desire to enter into this realm
It's different.
is completely different.
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
what we end up doing is a lot of times we just succumb, as opposed to saying, this is a desire that I have.
Which is why I flipped it for me.
And
Now. I'm
preparing
not
yourself
looking
for
to
it.
get married. I'm looking for the relationship. When the relationship is right, then I'll be ready for marriage.
Mhm.
So that's why I used to be, I'd like to be married one day. Now I don't know if I'm going to be married or not. I want a healthy, happy, whole relationship. And then I'm ready to talk about being married.
Mhm.
So that's how but I think part of what this is the truth is that the way we face our fears, whatever they are, the unknown, I think is absolutely true. For me, fatherhood, failure, all that kind of stuff. But for you, it could be something else. Is preparation.
Right.
And that's the key now is you can't control it, but the more I prepare, the more I get my court together, the more I think about what's important to me, the more I mature and live my life a different way. Like you say, your numbers change.
Exactly.
I was different from you. I had a list prior to being married. After marriage, my list not only changed, it decreased.
Mhm.
Because some of the things that were on my list, can I give you an honest example? Before I got married, I'm not one to share. Before I got married, I said there was a deal breaker for me. I will never stay in a relationship where my partner is unfaithful.
Mhm.
My ex-wife was unfaithful, and I begged her to stay.
Right.
Because what I thought I knew before,
Right.
I
That's
didn't
good.
know after.
Right.
So I had this list of here's the things I'll never tolerate, and now I'm in a marriage tolerating things I said I would. I'm like, well, baby, we can get through this. I can make this work.
Right.
I know I can do this. I'm thinking to myself, who is this? Who's
Right. Right.
Who's
But see,
that?
but
Who's
again,
this?
is that not a
What the heck?
sign of
Am I
evolution
saying?
and maturity?
And now after the fact though, my list used to have 9, 10 things on it. I got basically 2 things on my list now.
You got more than 2.
No, I got 2. I got 2 really. Two major deal breakers.
Okay.
I want you to have some connection to God,
Right.
and I don't do violence.
Mm-hmm.
Glory
I'm
to
not.
God.
I'm not punching you. You're not. I'm not. We ain't no. We not no domestic violence.
Right, right.
I'm not calling you out of your name.
We are not
You're not
calling
calling me out of
Well,
my name.
see,
Come on, none of that.
what you have is a deal breaker list, and what the list that I'm talking about is, if I were in the perfect situation, what are those 10 things that I would like to have?
I just came to the conclusion anymore now that I could, if I have those 2, I can make it through the other stuff because I got to have those 2. If I have you
Okay.
spirituality for me covers sex, finances, all that other stuff is in the spiritual.
Right.
And then the no abuse thing is the other piece of it. I won't put my mouth on you inappropriately. I will not talk about you in ways I shouldn't. I will not put my hands on you in ways that don't bless you. If I can cover those 2,
Okay.
it's Jesus with the law when he said that there's 10 of them plus all the other ones the Pharisees said. But you can sum it up in 2. Just love your neighbor like you love yourself,
Hello.
and love God with your heart, soul, mind. If you do those 2, the others will take care of themselves. And for me, if I have those 2, everything else is cool.
Okay.
That's just me. That's just Mike Jones.
Yeah, yeah.
That's Mike Jones. I'm not all men. That's Mike Jones speaking for Mike Jones. Woo woo.
When we come back, we're going to talk about men want they want eye candy, but they need more soul food. Eye candy, that's what we need more soul food. What is that about?
Oh, that's easy.
Well, you please take, because I wrote it. But you take the answer.
Well, you know
first.
what? You know what? I have a friend.
And the way I wrote it, this one, I put we all caps wants.
Right. Right.
What we want is eye candy.
Right.
But what we need, all caps, is soul food. Okay, great. I'm sorry.
And so I have a buddy who used to always say, "Tell me, man, I'm just looking for a woman to make my eyes happy." You know. But so let's be real. We are visual. We are visual beings.
Yeah, definitely.
But at the end of the day, if you have not brought me any substance,
Preach, man.
all that eye candy is goes for naught. You know.
Kids want dessert. If you want to grow up, you got to eat some peas
Come on,
and some
right.
carrots and some
Gotta be
mashed
some
potatoes,
Some protein.
right?
Mhm.
You can't just eat Twinkies and expect to live.
Exactly. And so at the end of the day, you know, if you remember the other community has that term, what do they call it? A dumb blonde. Gorgeous, she's a beautiful girl, but dumb as a box of rocks. And so at the end of the day, when I'm a little bit older, or certain things don't work like they used to work, or I'm not able to do certain things, you got no conversation.
None.
So now, and guess what else? Temptation said this: beauty's only skin deep.
Mm-hmm.
But ugliness is to the bone.
There you go.
Good God.
Beauty.
I've never heard that.
That's a classic temptation song. Yeah. Ugly is to the
See, y'all, this is
bone.
stuff that men know. Y'all don't know that.
We talk about this
Because
in the locker
ugly
room.
can be spiritual. It can be soul too.
To the
You
bone,
just as
down to the
cute,
bone,
but you
to
just
the
as
bone.
ugly on the inside,
To
just
the
stank
bone.
nasty.
Yes, Lord.
Ooh, and I said that to the women.
That's-
The men didn't have to say it.
Hallelujah.
So, how someone's asked this question. A man does not want to talk on the phone. They only want to communicate via text. What you do?
That's a boy.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Trade him in, press the
Absolutely.
button, move on to the
Right.
next
Grown people don't do business by text. We use text to schedule appointments. We use text for short purposes. I'll be there in 15 minutes.
That's good.
We don't do business.
You don't cancel
by text.
dates via text.
Right.
Business
You
is
don't
not
cancel-
handled by text.
Yes, that's good.
In
You
the
don't
Thomas
cancel
Griffin
dates.
book
Or break
It has
up
not
a
been written
relationship.
No.
that has not been written yet, a man deals with adversity head on.
It's good.
A boy.
A boy.
So,
Yeah, this is
so
called
a boy. Okay.
Stay with boy.
Yeah. So if I'm a man, there's no reason in the world that I can't see you, meet you face to face, talk to you, converse with you, whatever.
Right.
If I have to use text or utilize text to communicate, then you got the wrong guy.
Right,
You
exactly.
dealing with a boy.
You're not dealing with anything that you need.
That's what you
relational.
call a punk.
Okay.
If I can keep
Well, I was going to say that, but you know, you told me to say boy.
I thought you were saying something else. I thought
No,
you were
no,
saying
no,
something.
no.
I didn't know. And I don't know what the internet radio rules are. I know how to push a little
Yeah.
button for 7-second delay on the regular radio. I didn't know where the button was.
Define a man to our listeners. What is a man?
What is a man? That's a headache question.
What is it?
Yeah, because it depends on what context. Oh, so, we already know. Define a man in the context of a relationship.
Absolutely.
Old school. Provider. See, the general man is not a communicator if we're going to talk in generality.
Let's talk about what they should. Let's not talk about what they do. Let's talk about what we should be. 'Cause I'll go after what should a man be? So communicator is perfect, I think. I would stick with that. A man should be a communicator, a real man.
A real man,
leader.
communicator, a leader, a provider. I don't know how many we're supposed to come up with.
Whatever you come up with.
But
Teacher,
Teacher.
you know, protector, the spiritual head of the family.
I hope y'all got a pen. I told the women.
I want to add to
A
it.
pen and a piece of paper.
Some of the stuff that these brothers have said at first are things that are both internal. I think you have to define a man internal and external when it comes to relationship.
okay.
And I mean it this way, that as a protector, for example, it is my job to protect my woman and my family from those forces outside of us. It is not my job to protect her from the truth about me.
Okay.
Some men, for example, in an attempt to, I didn't want to tell you, babies, I didn't want you to worry, so I called my friend Thomas, and he's going to the doctor with me, and I need you, but I told him, see, I'm not supposed to protect you from me. I'm supposed to protect us from them.
Right.
So some stuff is internal and external. I'm supposed to be a warrior out there. I fight to kill out there. I live and love in here. I'm not a warrior when I come home. I'm not trying to fight my wife.
Mhm.
I don't want to come in and fight you. I want to come in with a safe place to land
Right.
so I can chill with you
Right.
and communicate with you and be with you and enjoy you and you enjoy me. I got to make sure I understand that there's two dimensions, at least when it comes to a relationship. There's how I am with you, and there's how I am with them.
So you know what
Good.
then? So then based on that question, which is a trick question if you look at it from this perspective, which is when you are a man, there's going to be two distinct sides.
Yes.
And
she needs to know both of them.
and that's what I was getting ready to go to.
Which is not necessarily true about women.
Exactly.
And that's what I was getting ready to go to.
Wow.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to go to.
Yeah.
And so
The woman you get is the woman you get. She is who she
Right.
is.
So when you are the warrior outside the family and you come home and try to land with her, she's still expecting you to be the warrior like you were. Some women, not all women,
Mhm.
still expecting you to be the warrior like you were outside, because that's her definition of a man.
And so she struggles when you come home and say, "Oh, baby, let me rub your shoulder. Let me get dinner
Who's
for you."
she?
Yeah, she got issues.
No,
She got issues.
No,
Tracy, get
no,
behind.
you know what? If you think about this,
Wrong with her.
MC Light had a rap song.
Did she have one?
One a roughneck.
Right.
Gotta have a roughneck. And so you stop and think.
And see, they only come home to rub your shoulders because of what they want from you, not because they want to do it for you.
Mhm.
Because there's a different
Yeah,
agenda.
roughneck
The-
handling your business,
But
but-
the warrior agenda is about conquering.
Right.
That's
So
right.
I'm only doing this for you because my desire is before the day is over, I will conquer you.
Right.
The priest's definition is not conquer, it's communion. I don't want to conquer you. I want to break bread and drink wine with you.
Some cheese and stuff.
And some cheese and some
Right.
stuff. And I want to
Glory
put it
to
all,
God.
and I want to put it all on the table with the Lord
That's
present.
good. That's
Yeah,
good.
and I want to tell you, this is my body, and I'm ready to break it down for
Glory
you.
to God. Glory to God.
Man,
You about to go to church.
the stuff part. The stuff. I want to know about the stuff. Don't tell me now.
Ah, glory.
I'm
That
just trying
is
to help
good.
somebody.
That is good. I think you did. I think you
See.
did. Well, this has been great. There will be a part 2 in March. I'm not sure the
You
date.
better have us back on part 2. Tell them other men they can't come back. This ain't their show. They have to have another show. Them men need another title, another. Give them another show. This is our show right here.
Now, next week
That
will
was
be
Thomas
the
Griffin.
women.
Wait, let's take it.
Next week will be the women having a similar conversation. I cannot remember all the sisters' names that will be with us, but please tune in so we can keep this going.
Ooh, I can't wait to
I
hear the women.
thank you all so much.
I forgive them women because they don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a male chauvinist. Why?
I think they're going to do okay. I think they're going to do
I can't
okay.
wait to hear him. I promise you, I cannot wait.
But this was great. Thank you so much, Rob, and I so appreciate you.
You're
and
welcome.
Pastor Michael Jones. I sent Pastor, if I can say this, a message, and I said, I am a fan of Pastor Michael Jones.
Oh yeah.
I'm a fan. He is the jam. Thank you so much, Thomas.
Yes, I've done this
You've
once or
done
twice
this.
before
Have you?
in my lifetime. Yes.
Well, see,
He's a
I
beast,
didn't
man.
know.
He's a
I
beast.
didn't know.